Good morning, good afternoon, and if you're coming home from working a long 9 to 5, hope you're having a good night as we bring to you a BodySlamNet exclusive interview with one half of the West Coast Wrecking Crew and one half of the longest reigning Winner's Circle Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champions, Royce Isaacs. How are you doing, my friend? My apologies for the stutter.
It's all good, man. I often do whenever I. If you've heard a promo from me, you know that I'm not above it. So, no, I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate your time, and every fan that's joining, listening, I appreciate your time as well.
As we get started with this, since we last spoke at Body Slam, and of course not me, of course you spoke with Lewis Carlin, one of our interviewers. There have been a lot of exciting things for you that have come up, whether it was teaming with your boy Jarrell Nelson as the West Coast Wrecking Crew or going up an extra level in a competition in singles action. This past June was your 10th anniversary in professional wrestling, and in February you celebrated your 35th birthday. When you reflect on the last decade since you embarked on this journey, what are the three most important things that it has taught you?
Oh boy, damn! I didn't know you were gonna get me with deep life questions like that. Three most important things. Um, hmm. I would say enjoy the ride because the ride along the way of getting where you're going is the adventure and the fun part. Um, I would say work your hardest and don't worry about what other people are going to say. Just take care of what you need to. And for my third one, I would say always salt your water when you're going to boil it to make pasta.
That's the best three advice you can get.
Yeah.
So, since 2021, you have been part of the Josh Barnett Bloodsport events where you have gotten a lot more comfortable testing your opponent's catch wrestling limits. Earlier this year, you competed against the legendary Minoru Suzuki in April, and then the now current Heritage Cup champion at NXT, Charlie Dempsey, where you were victorious against him this past July via submission. The first question is, how did it feel to get back in there with Suzuki after you first met 2 years ago at Lucha Libre and Laughs?
Suzuki-san is a legend, and rightfully so. And I'm still looking for that elusive W over him. But for now, I cherish every time that I get to wrestle him because it does. There's only so many Minoru Suzuki matches left in his career, and the fact that I've got to have two singles and a tag match with him is pretty awesome. And I always learn something and leave it better. So hopefully I get another shot at him, and this time I'm gonna get that sucker. But I definitely I understand that Minoru Suzuki is wrestling royalty, and the fact that I've gotten so many chances to share the ring with him is really a special thing.
An absolute legend, forever will be, of course, known as one of the greatest Japanese and one of the greatest in the world because of the impact he's had from just professional wrestling and also pancrase as well. He's done it all.
Yeah.
Um, and with the next question, with a holding a win over Dempsey and now him holding a prize in NXT, are you holding the door open for a potential opportunity and challenging for the Heritage Cup, whether it's on Bloodsport or NXT grounds?
I mean, I'm not the one holding the door, but I would love to blow that door open. That's for damn sure. I have the absolute most respect for Charlie Dempsey. I think that he's a grappler's grappler and a wrestler's wrestler. And if he would like to have another shot at beating me and writing that, I would love to have a shot at what he has. And I would love to have a shot where he has it. So, yeah, for him, it's a respect thing, as in I respect the hell out of him, and anytime, anywhere, and even if he doesn't have any titles or whatever, and this is 10 years down the line, he's the kind of guy that, give me a call. Oh, Charlie Dempsey wants to fight. He wants to grapple. Let's go.
You heard it here. 10 years from now, we're going to get Royce Isaacs against Charlie Dempsey.
Hey, if we're still around, that'll be a sick match. Let's go. I'm with it.
I'm all for it. And the last question about Bloodsport. What has it been like for you to be around the mind of Josh Barnett, and how influential has he been towards, your career and your life?
Josh is probably one of the most influential people that I've met in my life. From things like, I mean, obviously I met him and I trained with him, and then I got on Bloodsport and all the cool stuff that I've done there. Bloodsport helping lead to working with New Japan and putting me in a place to work with someone like Charlie Dempsey, who's a current WWE talent, and putting me in a position where I could beat said talent. Josh has done a lot for me directly in my career in terms of that, but just also in terms of someone that I've gotten to train with quite a bit and got to see the way of, I've sparred with him before. I've had him coach me before. I've got to experience all these different things and picked his brain. And he's someone that's really helped me in life, even outside of just in the squared circle. So I don't know, I can't really overstate how much Josh has meant to me as a coach, as a mentor, as someone that beats the shit out of me in side control from time to time and cranks on my neck. Josh is really, I can't say enough nice things, basically.
Recently, I was seeing a couple of your tweets. You were tweeting about the recent UFC event. How long have you been a fan of the sport of MMA? And, what would you say is one of your favorite fights to watch?
Let's see. I got into MMA at first back in like 2006 or so. And then I kind of fell out with it maybe a couple of years out of college, but I always would dabble a little here and there and follow it somewhat. I would say that like the times that I've followed it the most intently would be probably like 2006 to 2013, 14, and then probably 2020 until now. I've been my times where I've been like really like intently watching most or all of the big cards, and I don't know. I watch pretty much every fight night at this point. I got the ESPN Plus, so I might as well if I don't have a booking or the day after, I'll catch it if I'm coming back in from somewhere or whatever. So, yeah, I've had quite the time being a fan of MMA. As far as what fights I enjoy watching, this will be be divisive, but definitely for me, Conor versus Khabib, because I love I'm a Khabib guy, and I think it's a very satisfying beatdown to watch. But I know the Conor fans probably won't like to hear that. I really always enjoyed Fedor and Crow Cop. I think was such an interesting, and Fedor and Nogueira, number 1 and number 3 are all like heavyweight master classes. I enjoyed, as much as my guy didn't win, Shane Carwin versus Brock Lesnar, I think is a great fight because it's such a crazy back and forth, and you're watching like basically 2 action figures beat the living crap out of each other. So that's always a good one. And let's see, I'll give you like one more. A lot of the fights that I was really into were probably like old Pride fights and like Bushido and stuff like that back in the day. Trying to think of anything that's like a banger from recent times. I'm a big Alex Pereira fan. I'll watch his fights all day. Like he's always really fun to watch dissect people and whatnot. And as much as he's like a bull in a china shop, I do enjoy Dricus du Plessis quite a bit. I like watching his fights now because he's so. It's like a controlled rampage kind of thing. Like he's just going through there, and some people think it looks sloppy, but it looks damn effective to me.
Effective enough to beat Sean Strickland in January, and now Israel Adesanya this past month, the UFC middleweight champion. You mentioned Alex Pereira. He has been on a tear in the last year, winning the light heavyweight championship, defending it at UFC 300, defending it later on, and then now he's going to defend it again, I believe, in October or November. He just can't be stopped.
Yeah, and
my
he's
next
like doing that old school kickboxing thing where he's trying to stay busy all the time and keep fighting, which is interesting because we have like everyone else that's like a UFC champion fights like once or twice a year, and he's like, "No, get me more fights, more fights. I'm already in shape. I'm already ready to go. Let's do it."
And exactly, John Jones, waiting it out for the Stipe Miocic fight in November. Tom Aspinall wants to keep himself healthy and active, and opening the door to a Tom Aspinall and Alex Pereira fight, I think would be a fight of the year, fight of the decade, even.
I agree. I agree.
My next question: in his first match with Lucha Libre and Laughs this past May at High Strangeness, Alex Shelley fought against you, where you picked up the victory over somebody who was very well respected, one of the absolute best in the world in the last 20 years, and someone who has had your number in tag team action. How important did it feel to get the upper hand, and has there been any feedback you've gotten from Shelley himself?
Well, Shelley is another one of those guys that he's like a wrestling like encyclopedia. He has so much knowledge, and he's someone that I'm always trying to kind of get ideas from and shoot things by him. And I don't know, you can't really overstate how respected someone like Alex Shelley is. So to share the ring with him in a singles, especially on my 10-year anniversary, meant a lot to me. He was like the first idea that came to my mind of like, okay, who would be a cool, different person to wrestle at my 10-year anniversary, and who would be someone that like I'm gonna look back on this years from now and be like, wow, I really got to wrestle this guy. And I think Alex Shelley is like the guy that fits that bill. Picking up a victory over someone that's been around as long as he has, that's won legitimate world championships at multiple places, like yeah, it did mean a lot to me. And I've had a lot of really cool big momentum things this year, so it's felt good to continue to kind of build on that, and kind of just confirmed what I thought with my 10-year, that this is only just getting started. I just kind of wanted to do something fun and special for the fans, and obviously also for myself, getting to wrestle someone as awesome as Alex Shelley.
It was a great match, and picking up the win is something that every wrestler needs, especially over Alex Shelley of all people, who we don't know where he's off to next. So you never know how many opportunities you get on the independent circuit to be able to wrestle against him. Since February, you have made appearances at 3 events for Epic Pro, where you have walked away with 3 victories over Starboy Charlie, Ray Horace, and one of your biggest wins against former TNA World Heavyweight Champion Josh Alexander. What's your momentum feeling like heading into the final 4 months as we reach the end of the year? And would you like to run it back with Josh Alexander, whether it be on TNA grounds or whether it be somewhere else again? And also actually as the headliner event, because last time you guys were the co-main, this time what would it be like to be the headliner event?
Yeah, I mean, that the Epic Pro event that you're talking about had a really strong card, and I think that especially the top 3 matches, so that's including Jordan Cruz versus Shane Haste, and Santana versus Bad Dude Tito. I think any 3 of those could have been the main event. So I have all the respect for those other competitors as well. And I was proud to co-main event that, but I do think that Josh and I's match speaks for itself in terms of, I mean, that was a main event you could put on anywhere in the world, and I would love to. I think it would make sense to run it back. Either obviously, selfishly, I'd love to do it in TNA, but also just anywhere in Canada would be cool. Since he came down to my home, maybe I would go up to, I believe he's in Ontario. So I would love to come up there and run it back. I think that would be great. And yeah, Josh is someone that you haven't asked me about anyone that I don't respect so far. You've only asked me about the people that I like and respect. But Josh is someone that I think our styles match up really well. You just get 2 big bald bastards beating the crap out of each other. I think that's money. You know what I mean? I think there was another part to your question that I maybe didn't address, but maybe I got it. I don't know.
I was saying like the TNA grounds, which you answered, and also
Okay.
about the momentum. How you feeling like in the last 4 months?
Oh,
Your momentum.
yeah, I do feel good because I think like it's a good momentum thing. I've wrestled a lot of people that over the especially I would say over the last 4 years, but really even somewhat since I was younger in my career, a couple of years in, I've wrestled a lot of people that are on the level, as you would say, or like world class. But it does make a difference when you actually are able to pick up victories over these people. So, like, I think for a long time, I've been a very strong regional guy that's done a few things nationally, but mostly like jobber to the stars. And I don't think that that's a title that comes with respect because if you can't even do that, then you're far below that. But it does matter. At some point, you have to take that next step and start beating people. And this year, I think I've had my most success when you look at beating someone like Charlie Dempsey, who is currently employed at WWE. When you see beating someone like Alex Shelley, who's a former TNA world champion, beating someone like Josh Alexander, who's a former TNA world champion, it's like I'm beating people who are someone in wrestling, and that means that I am someone in wrestling. So I'm going to keep, stacking my wins and keep climbing up the ranks. And I'm glad to see someone else point out the momentum and all that because it sounds like I'm just bragging if I'm just talking about it all the time myself. But you asked the question, so now I'm allowed to brag on myself a little bit because it's been my biggest year in terms of like big W accomplishments and especially big singles W accomplishments and all that kind of stuff really does matter and does add up in terms of making a career. So these next 4 months, I just want to do more of that, knock out some more world champions, maybe do some more cross promotional submissions and KOs and keep that momentum going because momentum is fleeting always in wrestling, but I've done a pretty damn good job of continuing to build and build over my career.
And with momentum, keeping it and beating world champions, have you had any discussions this past year with any of the major promotions as to working more dates? As to, like, example, AEW Collision, you had your match with Joel Nelson. And so in the last couple of months, we're waiting to see what happens next with you with Ring of Honor and with AEW. Are there any other promotions that have been, reaching out to you to try to book you guys?
Hey, we're always available and by that phone. So if Tony Khan needs someone for Ring of Honor, we'd love to do some more dates. And I'd love to get on TNA's radar because I think we'd be a really good fit there and whatnot. And I hear Florida's lovely weather year round. So take for that what you will. But no, I'm definitely hungry for more. I want to take that next step and let's have some conversations. I'm a very available, reachable man.
And they can hear it. They know that you are ready to take over at any given moment. So this weekend, you and Joel Nelson of the West Coast Wrecking Crew will look to put the nail in the coffin and move on from this chapter with Tom Lawler and Fred Rosser. What are some final words that you would like to give your opponents before the opening bell and New Japan Pro Wrestling's Capital Collision?
Oh yeah, no, you said it all with the final nail in the coffin. That's what I'm looking to do here with Tommy and Freddie. Tom, you are going to rue the day, the mistake you made when you traded Jarrell and myself for Filthy Fred and Filthy Tom. That's what we got now. Literally broke up. Team Filthy was the best thing in New Japan Strong, and Filthy Tom fucked it up. So I don't know. I don't know how he ever comes back from that, but I'm here to make sure if he has 1 foot in the grave, I'm going to shove him all the way in, and if he doesn't have 1 foot in the grave, I'm going to put his foot in the grave. So Fred, he got shaved enough times by me and Jarrell that I guess he's just rocking the baldy now, and I can't hate because that's what I do too. But maybe I'll shave that goatee off of him since he's trying to do the old Stone Cold goatee. I don't know, man. I'm ready to move on and move up. I think Jarrell and I we're our waists are a little bit bare. I think it's about time that we finally had that New Japan Strong Tag Team Championship around our waist. I think it's time that we start looking towards that IWGP Tag Team Championship. So I'm not trying to say that I'm looking past this weekend, but all I see is smooth sailing ahead. And like you said, nail in that coffin. Tom, you hear that? Tick, tick, tick. It's your 15 minutes spiring.
Man, that was hard. So you have been pushing heavily to be shown the respect that you and Joel Nelson have earned to be put in the World Tag League. My question is that the president of New Japan Pro Wrestling, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Tomohiro Ishii will battle the grizzled elite veterans and TMDK's Bad Dude Tito and Robbie Eagles to fight for an opportunity to become the number one contenders to the New Japan Strong Tag Team titles, which will also be defended that night. Whether they are successful or not, would you and Jarrell say that enough is enough and to test yourselves against two legends in New Japan to prove that you belong in these bigger tournaments?
Yeah, I mean, I think this year is really it has to be the year. Like I am past the point of waiting. We should have been on Tag League 2 years ago. It was a travesty we weren't on it last year. And so this year, whoever we have to blow through, whoever we have to beat up, whoever, I don't care if it's in the ring or if I have to, kick down Tanahashi's door, we should be in Tag League. And if they want to set up a match with him and Ishii as like an eliminator or something, great. We went to Japan before, 6-man action. You saw what I did. If anyone that's seen the 4th of July show from last year knows that was an MVP performance from Royce ISAACS. Step in there with me. You're stepping in there with a buzzsaw. I will beat both of their asses. And, put us in Tag League, straight up. Wrecking Crew for Tag League. 2024. I'm not waiting no more.
No one's waiting anymore. Everyone wants to see this happen. You were snubbed last year, snubbed the year prior to that. It's no more stubs. It's time to be in the postseason. It's time to show that you belong to get that championship. And so before I send you off, I appreciate you taking that time out of your day for this great interview. Everyone can, of course, tune in on Friday, August 30th to see action from the absolute best from around the world, including the West Coast Wrecking Crew, as they look to put Fred Rosser and Tom Lawler away once and for all. Following the show, where can we catch you next? Is there anything in the works? And what are the socials so everyone can follow you and keep up with Royce ISAACS?
At Royce ISAACS on Instagram, at Royce ISAACS on Twitter. It's probably the only places see LinkedIn. Nah, we're good. Other than that, I have a fairly busy September. I know for sure I have Relentless in Spokane at the beginning of the month. I feel like I'm forgetting about something else. I definitely I think I have something that I'm forgetting about in between that they'll probably kill me for. But I know for sure I have some West Coast Pro dates at the end of the month as well. I'll be wrestling in Irvine as well as San Diego. I'm challenging for the West Coast Pro Championship. First time I'm getting a crack at that, but I've been in the company since second show. So definitely really excited for that. I do have a lot of respect for Kevin Blackwood, who I'm challenging. But at the end of the day, it's one of those things where he has something that I want, and it's something that I've been working for. I think it's something that can really kind of prove myself within West Coast Pro. So I'm excited for that. And just check all my socials. I'll always post about all my bookings on there as well as clips and all that. I have one other place. I do have a YouTube channel where I post matches and such from time to time. So check that out if you want to. And I just appreciate anyone that took the time to listen to me ramble for 25 minutes because, hey, there's other ways you can spend 25 minutes. So thank you for spending it with me.
Hey, 25 minutes of a good talk, learning more about you, learning more about, your love for MMA, respect for Josh Barnett, how you're going to put the nail in the coffin this weekend. I cannot wait. It's going to be great. Thank you so much for being part of this. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. Hope you had a great morning, great afternoon, and a great night as we bring to you another BodySlamNet exclusive with the one and only Rolls-Royce ISAACS. Thank you very much.
Thank you.